Hello YouTubers! I'm gonna make a quick video today about chameleon cages setup. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. Chameleons are a boreal species. They live on a tree, so they're very different setup than most lizards. So here's a very short video about how to set them up. On your left hand side, it's a male. On your right hand side is a female. As you can tell, male and female, I do have different setup for a couple reasons. Number one, males grow a lot bigger than female. Males can reach 1 to 2 feet long, while female usually about, max out 18 inches, which is like a feet, or maybe sometimes a little bit less than, over a feet, basically. And that includes the tail, so not just the body. So a couple things most importantly, you want the light setup on the top. Recommended on the very, very top, not on the side. I know some people want to supplement lights on the side, but in nature, chameleons receive sunlight from one direction, so it's not needed to add a couple of lights. UVB and heat lamp. So at this cage here, I got 2 UVB, 1 heat lamp in the back. And this cage here, I got 1 UVB and 1 heat lamp here. It doesn't matter, just giving you diversity on how you can set it up. As long as you got both, it should be good. The heat lamp should be sitting within 1 feet away from the basking branch. So if you look at the boys one right there underneath it, that's her basking spot right there within a feet within it. And there it is, the female one, same thing, 1 feet below it, within a feet. That gives them a nice hot spot when they want to get extra heat. They can sit right there and be comfortable. So let's start with the male first. Male and female does have different needs. Despite the fact that males get a little bigger, you want, well, it's for both really. You want them to have a lot of life plants. You want them to have a lot of climbing space, both vertically creating different level and horizontally covering with greens. So here, if you look, I have 2 life plants at the bottom. One is a very bushy one, which create a lot of crevices and a lot of small spaces for him to hide in if he were to get stressed out. One is a very stem looking, as very what we call woody plants that allow climbing, vertical climbing. And both of them, the best thing is they have very waxy leaves, which mean they hold water droplet really, really well. As you can see, the water droplet is being hold on to it. It's been there for a while now. This is very, very good. Same as this plant here. You can see the water droplet shining right there. Because chameleons do not drink standing water in the wild. They actually obtain water by licking the leaves of natural plants. So I highly recommend having real plants, waxy leaf plants in their enclosure to let them rehydrate properly. I'm not saying fig plant does not work. Fig plant right there, there's a little bushy fig plant there. That one does hold water droplet quite well. However, this one, which is a Christmas decoration, absorbs water, so they actually don't do anything. It looks shiny, but I tested it when I spray on it, the water droplet does not stay. So do your own experiment, find out what's the best real and fig plant combination it is for you. Another good thing about real plant is it holds humidity better. I live in Canada, so it's quite dry here. I find that the hardest thing for me to do is maintain a higher level of humidity. I want a minimum of 40%, but outside the air right now I can tell you 0 to 10. So having life plants and having a misting system set up is really, really helpful. The reason why I use misting system, you can also use one of those dripping system as well, which basically a little cup with a hole at the bottom, so it's slowly dripping water down every single second or so. But I like misting system because number one, I can monitor and I know exactly how much time it would take before the misting goes on again. With cup, you have to continue filling it and you can't be away for the whole day. Usually won't run that long. Or you need a really big cup and then you risk the chance of flooding in your room. So there you go, my setup. Again, you want to fill up all the levels. So as you can see, the top level, I got a curvy branch climbing all the way down. This branch also run all the way to the bottom of the cage to allow full access to all the levels. I'll give an extra ladder. There's actually a bird ladder. A lot of the bird cages equipment works really, really well with chameleon because they're both arboreal. So whatever worked for birds, I found it really worked for chameleon as well. So feel free to get some bird equipment for you to set up your cage. To avoid, because I have a misting system, to avoid flooding, as you can see, my room is actually carpeted. Not the best room for setting up, actually create a lot of difficulties, but you could manage it by having, these are just plastic tablecloth that put up. See the green background right there? That creates a waterproof wall so that when the misting system does go on, the water will just drop down into this basically shower curtain that got curved up into a cup kind of wrap up bottom. So all my water get collect there, and actually because I'm in Canada, it's so dry anyway, you evaporate within the day. I have never had issue. Overnight, it all evaporated. Initially, I thought maybe I'll leave a bucket at the bottom here just for draining purposes, but I never had to use it. So depending on your home setup, depending on how dry your area is, you may want to set up differently, but here's a good example of how to set up a perfect cage. He has been living in this cage perfectly healthy. You can see his eyes as well. His eyes are nicely pumped up. You don't want your chameleon eyes to be deflated. That's a sign of dehydration. Dehydration is the #1 killer for chameleons. So make sure you check the eyes often and have a setup where they got lots of hydrating chances, which is waxy plants, lots of misting, and lots of dripping system. Now moving on to the female. Female have very similar setup to males. The only thing is they do get eggs. They do lay eggs like chickens. Even though they may or may not have been mated, they will still lay eggs randomly. So you will have to include a laying bin in their cage. How I did that is I bought one of those black garbage bin from Walmart. And you see that I have a big stick sticking right through the entire bin. That will allow her to dig her tunnel if she needed to lay eggs. Usually female will go into the bin and start digging holes, dig their own tunnel like this, and then they'll lay the eggs inside the tunnel. You need to have a branch in there so that the tunnel does not collapse, or if it does collapse, they have a rescue spot or rescue branch that they can climb onto and climb out. So that's very important to keep a stick right through the laying bin to let them climb out and dig holes so that they can lay eggs. Now, female will lay eggs anywhere between, after 6 months of age, because after 6 months they get sexually mature. Some female lay as early as 6 months, some female don't lay till they're 1 year old or 2 years old. It all depends. All depends on their feeding diet, depend on stress, depend on how much calcium they're getting, how much nutrition they're getting. The smaller, the bigger the clutches also depend on the female genetic a little bit. Okay, so that is not a set to stone. Oh, this time they will lay eggs, and then this many days they will lay egg again. Now, that's a major thing. The substrate I use for laying bin is play sand, which is basically those kid-friendly play sand that you can buy in home hardware shops. The reason for that is, #1, they don't have fertilizer. #2, they don't have rocks or sharp crystal that can cut your chameleons. So play sand is by far the safest substrate you can use. You could use soil and stuff, but because of fertilizer, root contaminations, eggs, and that kind of stuff, I don't want to risk it. My chameleons are my babies to me, so I do take really good care of them. So I would rather buy a cheap bag of play sand and just fill it up with it. Same thing, female-wise. You want to arrange the whole level of plants. Having a woody plant and a bushy plant, that will work really, really well. Have leaves that hold water droplets on it. So as you can see, this one is holding water droplet quite well. All shiny here. Perfect. I like that. And that's basically it. Basic setup of chameleons. Okay, so if you have any other question about setup or how to set up particular way, or if you're concerned of is it right, or is it something that you're having challenge with, the temperature level or humidity level, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll be happy to help you set up something. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.